steep grade up ahead, slowing down and making no time. Gotta keep on rolling. Those windshield wipers slapping out the tempo, breaking from the rhythm with the song on the radio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gig Worker app, Rodeo Roundtable for drivers and gig workers and rideshare drivers and delivery alike and everything. How you doing? Look at these awesome people I got with me. I got Kim, Side Money Plans. I got Cheyenne, Gig Work Mama. I got Tom Kelly with, I always bill him with the two. So he's got Rideshare podcast. He's got Trucker podcast. So we'll figure out what's going on there. You guys, I've been home for an hour. I just went to Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, and yes, that's a real town.
Is that like a drinking game too?
You know what's weird is that it used to. I actually looked. I mean, like I had to look. I didn't know. Like it was called something, and they actually renamed the town after a game show.
Starring Bob Parker. I used to watch this show when I was young. Truth or Consequences.
Bob Barker, like pre.
I should know that. I was all
like
when
I
I was
should know
kid,
that
I was
too.
all
I didn't know
game shows.
I was into it. I loved it.
Why did they
it didn't
rename
even
the
happen
town?
there? Like, why did they name the town?
Because it was so popular. I mean, it, like a lot of game shows, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and others that go through this fad when they first start up, and everybody just like loves it. You know, what was the one with the briefcases?
Deal
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that first came up, like everybody in America could not watch it. It was on 5 nights a week. Everybody went crazy, and 6 months later, it's like, forget it. Nobody's watching it anymore. Turn it off. That's kind of the way Truth or Consequences was. You know, it was an honor to rename your town after Truth or Consequences, and then it was like all over after, you know, a while the fad was over. And I was like, I wonder if they've ever regretted that.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm looking at it.
no
I'm like, I don't
offense,
remember this.
But the town didn't have a lot to offer.
No.
I'm gonna say this out loud, man. Like, I mean, kudos to the people that live there. I mean, if you enjoy it, sweet. It scared me a little.
It's part of a radio show contest why they were able to change their name.
There you go.
So,
What?
yeah, and yeah. If you guys want to Google it, you can Google your own pictures. I just did my job and got out of there. But it was a long drive. In fact, I had mixed. I always put these out on the community post, and I had mixed reviews. So I'll ask you guys. So everybody will have to don't follow each other's answers. But so Denver to Truth or Consequences. It was I had 1100, but it was 1080 is what it was round trip. I had that at 16 hours. I left at 2 p.m. Tuesday. Got back this evening, or just about an hour ago, but I did stop in Santa Fe last night. I had dinner with an old bartender that I used to bartend with, spent the night at his house, got a free place to crash, got up in the morning, finished the drive. So in 48 hours, I took $10.50 in pay for 1080 miles and moving 125 pounds of HVAC control boards. Kim,
Wow.
Like 1,050?
Wait, 1,050 and how many miles?
1,080.
Who cares? It was 2 days. 1,050?
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure. I do it.
Kim's
Let's see why
stumped
not.
here.
No, well, I always feel like I have a different perspective. If my life was free and clear and I didn't have a kid and a husband and I can just drop and go, I probably would do it.
Kim's like saying that my life is free and clear. I mean,
I'm not
I only have
saying that.
one
I'm just
kid
saying
that
my
is
life is
totally
not free and
dependent
clear.
on me.
I'm talking about myself. I'm saying my life isn't free and clear.
was worthless, and I had nothing better to do in my entire life because I'm just kind of a bum and I lay around anyway. Yeah, I'd do it.
I mean,
I understand,
my
Kim. I
point
get
is
it.
to me,
Thank
like
you.
here I am, I'm home. I'm gonna get a good night's sleep tonight. But when I wake up tomorrow, Friday morning, and sometimes these happen on Mondays or whatever, but it started on a Tuesday afternoon too. So midweekish, and then starting off Friday, I've already got $10.50.
There you go.
Did you have to
And
pay for hotel rooms or anything like that?
no, because
Well,
I
he was lucky
I
he
stayed
stayed
in
by his
Santa Fe.
friend.
I stayed
I
with my
know,
friend.
but what happens if you didn't have a friend along the way? Then you would have to pay for
$60. I mean, dude, in New Mexico, you could stay for $20 in some sketchy towns, but
Okay, yeah, I need a little bit more luxury.
like truth or
than that.
consequences. But there's like, I mean, if you had to use, I mean, okay, let's say you had to drop $80 because $80 going to get you like a roadside Hyatt place, so you're going to get something decent.
Really? You guys hotel
like,
rooms
really?
are that cheap?
Well, it's not. I mean, here in Colorado, no, but New Mexico is not known for like
Luxury.
it's not, dude. I don't want to be picking on New Mexico because I actually had 2 people from there that I don't even know comment on that post.
Oh, wow.
They're like, truth or consequences, you'll like that. And they were telling me about a lake or something. I was like, I'll just drop my package off and leave.
Yeah.
So-
I'm not here to sightsee. Yeah. So even if, let's say, $100 you had to drop on a hotel, right?
Or, I mean, I have to drop it on gas too. Let's say that I got, let's say I have $800.
Yeah, but
But then you
gas,
have to put
that's
away
not the-
what for taxes. So
Okay, but I also don't forget, Kim, that I am writing off 1,100 miles
Yeah,
at
no, I get that.
68 cents. And I know we shouldn't be doing our money that way, but of course I am when it's that many miles.
yeah,
That's $700 of write-off.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, I don't pay in when I do these kind of long trips. And Gig Geezer and I think Tom might agree with this too. Like we think of it like we have cars to use them. They're constantly devaluing no matter what little or lot you're doing. You might as well use it.
Oh, that
if
I
it's your
agree
work
with
vehicle.
completely.
So put the miles on it, get the money, make it.
Yeah. Me personally, I don't, with where I'm at, like I couldn't leave for 2 days and come back.
Well,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Cheyenne sounds like she could. And she lives,
I would have
she's-
figured it out.
yeah, see, she'd have taken the kid even. Like, dude, we're not
Yeah.
working.
Well, if I could.
You
They're
can.
homeschool. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
no,
I
you
can do
can.
that. I
You're
can do
just,
that.
yeah. But okay, if you were in a position where you could,
If I could, I would.
Your daughter's
Yeah.
grown up. She's at college.
Yeah, I would totally do it.
I guess that's my point. Is like I guess some people don't like the long drives. I actually prefer them. I'd rather go make that money and just be on one job, have it locked in. And you guys, before we get into anything tonight, I did want to I want to play, and I'm gonna play a couple of these throughout because we've already got I did a thing with Mike Karubi, and we're asking everybody to record a 30 to 60 second video. I can put the Dropbox link in, and what it'll do, I want to show you guys this, how easy it is. Because what'll happen is when you click the Dropbox link, you'll see this. And it's that simple. You're going to pick the file that you recorded, a 30 to 60 second video, and I'll kind of show you and tell you what they need to be. But then it's just asks your name and your email, and that's it, upload. And Mike Karubi is filing these per state to use to take to DC with his legislation, showing that it's kind of a video version of all the people who write emails saying they want to be employees to congressmen. We're going to take video files. Like, let me show you. Larry Duncan is a friend of mine. He's lifting with Larry. He lives in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I'm going to show you like his right now. And if everybody could do something like this, now this one runs just runs like a minute 10, but if everybody could do this, and I got a couple others that show that it's easier. We'll play a couple here and there, but throughout the show. But yeah, let's take.
Hi, my name's Larry. I'm a gig worker from Bowling Green, Kentucky. I've been doing gig work for 6.5 years now. I want to stay an independent contractor, not a W-2 employee. I like being able to multi-app. Bowling Green's small enough that even running both rideshare apps and sometimes even a couple of food delivery apps, I still have downtime. If I had to stick to just one app, it wouldn't be feasible, it wouldn't be profitable enough to do here. Also, during the last year, my parents and some of my extended family have had a lot of medical problems. Being a gig worker and being able to work when I want to has allowed me to help take them on visits to the doctor, help stay with them at the hospital, And here recently, my wife had shoulder surgery. That happened in December. I've been having to drive her and pick her up from work ever since that time. I wouldn't be able to do that if I was a W-2 employee. So I definitely want to stay an independent contractor.
So, like I said, that's Larry's story. Now, I have like the other ones are shorter. That was 1 minute. What Mike and I are trying to do is get people to do 30 to 60-second videos. And as I play a couple others tonight, as we go along, you'll see that they're so easy to make, because you'll see other people aren't doing what Larry did. They're doing it their own way. The only thing that we're asking is keep it positive. Don't be like Uber sucks, so I want to be an independent contractor, because, keep it positive, because that's the light that's going to be brought out in. And it was pointed out, Mike made a very good point. We were discussing this. He said, because if you don't make it positive, then the other side takes it, runs with it, and says, oh, they want to be in place. Like if you're yelling, even though you want to be an IC and you're yelling about it and mad, they're going to view that as you want to be an employee. So it's very important that they stay positive, but he's going to take these in. So they have emails written to congressmen. They think that we, the people who want to be independent contractors, don't exist. And to that, I say, well, listen to some of the stories. I mean, we're going to show you a couple others too. I'll run one more before we even get started, because let me see. So this is an independent, this one's a little different, and then we'll get into it.
Good afternoon. My name is David. I live in San Angelo, Texas. The nearest major metropolitan market is Dallas, Texas. I work in the gig economy. I am an independent contractor. There's a vote coming up in the near future that's going to decide whether I can do my job, which is an independent contractor. Some people want to be employees. They can get a job with an employer. That's not me. I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy the freedoms that I have as an owner. The equipment I have behind me, if you see, has my name on it. I drive down the road proud that my name is on a truck. I can work whenever I want, whatever time I want. I have a young son. I get to spend time with him. As you see, his name's on the truck too. When this vote comes up, I wish you to continue to protect my freedom to work when I want, where I want, and how I want. I thank you very much. You have a great day.
So when Mike and I first thought of this idea and we started tweaking with it, and he was like, so what's going to happen? And I was telling him, he's like, this is genius. He's like, we've never seen this before. Nobody ever brings these into the congressional hearings. And they are powerful. I mean, if you listen to Larry's, he makes a very specific case on why he in Bowling Green, Kentucky needs this. That guy just made a very specific case why he needs this. And it's his right to do it too. In that last video, he pointed out, hey, look at my legal business. Look at this truck. I'm proud of it when it goes down the street. I mean, these are people who are under attack. So those who think that we're not, well, it's to what level are we? But it's definitely not, we're not. But I'm going to say hi to the chat here. I know we haven't yet, so let me just quickly run through this. What's up, Traveler? Hey, Thomas Mathis. What's up, Kevin Hawthorne? Gagan, how you doing? Rick, how are you? I haven't seen you in a minute. Chris Taylor, Cartafedge, Big Carl, how are you doing? Pedro, what's up? Oh, Pedro will be making his tomorrow. Oh, good job, man. Thank you. Yeah, again, guys, listen, this is not just for Pedro or for Kim or for Cheyenne or Tom to do these. I mean, I want all of them to do it too, but I would like to see any of you do it. Even we were asked, would an audio recording be okay? Yeah, it's fine. Here's how we thought the only things that really needed to be included, because there's really no format to it. Keep it positive, your first name only, and the city you work in. I'm Steve. I work in the Denver market. Now, why I want to stay an independent contractor or what the perks are to me or what the benefits are, I don't know. I mean, we haven't even done really anything and they're already coming in. So I dropped the link in there to the Dropbox. That's all you do is click that. You don't need to log into Dropbox. You just click it. And here, I'll pin it to the top. There. So all you do is click that link. If you make a 30 to 60 second video, it's actually going to be very powerful for us because each state has like 300 to 700 emails to congressmen about how they want to be employees or they can't, I'll throw a grenade in this whole thing. I don't care. I just want to do, Jessica, I did mine last week. Yeah. You know what, Jessica, I hope it's okay. Cause I have yours in the 5. I wanted to play yours tonight. That's Jessica from Ohio, right? So if you can give me a thumbs up, Jessica, that it's okay to play it, I'm gonna, because I liked yours too. And it showed another way of doing it. So everybody, thank you for doing what you've done so far. But I mean, like just us talking and really not putting it out there yet made that happen. So if I can convince Kim and Joanna and Tom and Pedro and other people to kind of even just get that buzz out there a little bit, like, hey, it can't hurt. It can't hurt. Everybody's, I know a lot of people have said, I don't want to write my congressman. I've never written my I'm not going to ever write a congressman. Okay, I get all that. So we came up with this different thing. And if you actually do gig work, you should be able to do this, right? Right, Kim? Like you're going to do it, right?
Yeah, I told you I would. I just haven't had time yet. And I've had a busy
right. No,
couple
but
of days.
but I was just saying it like, see, Kim's going to do it. Like everybody could do it. It's easy. I mean, this is something you can just do in your car. And I know we all have a feeling on it. I mean, there's no way you don't, even if you're like, hey, I don't think any of that's going to happen. I can tell you that nobody knows. We've talked about this. Tom's talked about this when we were all gone. None of us know what's going to happen, but we know that there's a mechanism in place to make a lot of things happen. It's just which ones will they pick? So there's no way to tell what's going to be affected, but it's there to affect you big time. So this can't hurt. It's 30 to 60 seconds of your time. And I made it that easy. The Dropbox link doesn't require a login, nothing.
Good.
So, I mean, Jessica gave me the thumbs up. So I'll play hers real quick. Okay. And then
Hi, I'm Linda. I'm in the Toledo market. I've been with Doordash a little over 2 years. I'm also a top dasher. I enjoy being an independent contractor because it allows me to work when I want to work, for how long I want to work on any given day, and to accept or decline the orders that will afford me the opportunity to meet my profitability goals. That's why we're in this business, to make money. And without the decision or flexibility to decide what we want to accept or decline, can't make profit. I also multi-app, which adds to my profitability goal. So flexibility is key across the board on all of the gig apps.
Sorry, Jessica, I thought that was your that was Linda.
That was Linda.
but again, Linda from Ohio. We got the guy who's an independent trucker from Texas. We got Larry from Bowling Green. We got Xander, who you got just Xander, y'all. He's got one up here from LA. We got Bud Soda's got one up there. Of course he does. Like this is powerful stuff, I think. And Mike knows how to weaponize this against the people trying to do bad things. So he knows how to make a statement to the people who are trying to figure out, I'm not really up to date on all this. Tell me everything I need to know. And this really will help big time. So I really urge everybody. It's so easy. I would be shocked if a lot of people don't do this. I really would, because it's not being used for anything else. It's just being filed away. So if it's like, hey, we need all the people from New York. Okay. Here's all the videos. I don't know. I mean, when I was talking to Mike, we talked about I know a lot of these gig workers think their specific voice isn't heard. And I said, well, we've told them to write congressman. We've got the driver rights thing. We've got New Jobs America and Be My Own Boss and all this. But like, this is really easy. This is really easy. And if you tell your story, I mean, if you're listening to these different stories, everybody has different reasons. And even if some of them start lining up, that's still fine. I mean, like one of the things we said you should hit on is multi-apping, because Mike and I have both seen that in most states pushing legislation, multi-apping is trying to be pushed out. And right now, I don't know what that means for us, because let's get into some Doordash.
That would be bad.
No, I mean it though, because I got a few things I want to say about Doordash. Because I don't know. I'm really like, let's start with one of the littler things, because I don't know if you guys saw, but this has been going on for a minute. But the Attorney General, this is California, right? Yeah, Oakland. So the Attorney General announces settlement with DoorDash. Investigation finds company violated multiple consumer privacy laws. Now, here's what they did. So I'll just read you just the beginning, just so we can all get that taste going of how DoorDash, the ethics behind this company. So California Attorney General Rob Bonta today announced a settlement with DoorDash, resolving allegations that the company violated the California Consumer Privacy Act and the California Online Privacy Act. The investigation by the California Department of Justice found that DoorDash sold its California customers' personal information without providing notice or an opportunity to opt out.
That's a big deal in California.
That's a big deal anywhere, man.
But especially in California, where they have specific laws. I mean, we don't have a specific law against that in Texas. They have a specific law against that in California.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if it's bad enough when it's us, the drivers, this is the customers.
Yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me. Remember when I talked about what was it called that DoorDash did, like that hidden group that was supposed to get, like, it was almost like a petition. But anyway,
didn't Soda do part of that or something?
I have no idea. But part of the verbiage that no one read about was we try to keep your information protected, but kind of like, oops, if it happens, we can't protect against everything. It's the internet. Like, it's almost like the verbiage almost sounded like that. Like, it kind of reminds me of like, oops, by the way, we're selling your information. I'm sure it's in fine print somewhere.
Well, see, I'm thinking of back to like, okay, Uber in 2018 or 18, when they got caught being hacked for 59 million accounts.
It's crazy.
And what did they do? Did they go to the FCC? Did they go to any of these government agencies? No, they hired a teenager to cover it up. It worked for about a month, and then they got caught. Paid a bunch of fines. Lewandowski went to jail for a little bit. But I mean, like, this, their first instinct is cover it up, guys. But my point is that, like, these are the customers. They're, it's just, it blows my mind. Kim, you've worked in the service industry before this kind of work too. It blows my mind that a company has the balls to say, listen, yeah, we're going to overcharge you on everything you want to do on this app. We're also going to sell all your information. And we're not going to give you an option to opt out unless we get caught.
I just thought of it. It was Dashing Roots or Dasher Roots, something like that.
I don't know.
That was the name
it's just like, that's just like one story today. It's just like, they're constantly, it's one thing after another. It just, it really never ends.
That's crazy.
I know, right? There's also a thing about these that Uber's this is weird because there were two stories. There's Dara, CEO of Uber, saying we pay our drivers awful again. Remember we talked about that before? Well, he's doing that again. He's saying we pay you awful. Those stories are out today. And at the same time, there's an article about all untipped rides will receive a 30% automatic tip. This is a new thing that drivers are doing, telling customers, if you don't tip, don't worry about it. It adds 30%. So it gets the customer to go in there and tip. Now, I used to have my own strategies, not quite to that level.
It's actually
But
kind
like,
of
so
funny
at the
if you
same
think
time,
about it.
but here's a comment from Dara. And in the same day of the news cycle, the other comment from Dara was, I can't believe our drivers are doing this. What are you talking about? You just said
Honestly,
you treat them like crap.
Honestly,
Come
that's a
on.
better idea, to be honest with you, than striking or protesting. Like, if they got every driver to say that to their customers, like, that would literally hit Uber in the pocket. Like, actually, that's pretty odd. It's really ingenious if you really want to hit Uber. Like, that, to me, that's better than a strike or a protest.
Sure.
But you're very likely to be deactivated. Any
Yeah.
customer calls you and you're done.
You
Yeah,
are.
it's
I'm
not
just
gonna-
saying, though, I
not
think
gonna
it's
last
more
long.
effective than what happened last week. I'm just saying.
Where is that? What happened last week again?
Exactly.
Christopher
And
Taylor.
that's my point.
But
Christopher Taylor gifted 5 memberships.
Oh, nice.
oh,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Christopher Taylor. I wasn't on the guys. I wasn't on the comment side. I was on the notes side. Thank you, Christopher Taylor. I appreciate that. What's up, Gigaholic Rex? Oh, Jessica was the video. Okay, that was you. Okay. There's an alias going on somewhere, but thank you, Jessica. That was, I thought, very well done. So I challenge all of you to beat Jessica or do as well as she did. Make
She
a
set the
video.
bar high.
We're gonna beat Jessica? That's not nice.
No. Hi, Jessica. Aspire to be Jessica.
Okay.
She set the bar high for everybody.
Just
She
admit
set the bar really high, guys. So
you
like,
need to beat her, and, yeah.
try and do your best. But Kim, I know I asked you, and I know I was on the road. You talked about it, I think, a little bit last night. So maybe I'll let you kind of lead off with this one a little bit, because I was looking into this and this Doordash and Seattle thing, and specifically
Yes.
Doordash.
Yeah, so there's kind of two different articles going on, so to speak, about it. But we're weeks later, months later, since Seattle passed the new law of paying, average hourly wage, and now
And remember,
everybody.
people, this is delivery. Rideshare has been going on like that for like a year, and it was working okay. So this is
food delivery.
yeah.
And now like DoorDash is kind of saying, I told you this was going to happen. Like, we're losing money. And then the drivers are like, well, we're not making any money. Reverse it back. So there's like a whole huge thing happening. There was an article about drivers giving their testimonials, like they're not making rent, they're making significantly less amount of money. Like, it's become a real a real issue. And then there was a DoorDash article this past week basically saying, well, we told you this was going to happen. We told you that by doing this was going to happen. But I'm going to speak more to the DoorDash side because I call BS on this. Like, they're contributing to the problem, and they're crying that there's a problem. Like,
Yeah.
because of the hourly wage, they made customers pay more in fees, which now customers aren't ordering as much. They're now charging restaurants more commission fees off of their bottom line. So now restaurants aren't making as much. So people aren't ordering. Drivers aren't making money. They're not paying their dollar per hour because no one is active on the platform. Like, it's just a mess going on. But I feel like it's really funny, the article that DoorDash actually put out themselves. Like, it was almost like they're like wiping their hands clean. Like, it's almost like, no, we have nothing to do with it. Like, you're the cause of the problem. Like, I just,
why are you looking at us? We're like a legit company, like treating people well.
like,
that's like
hey,
typical
we
DoorDash
told you this was going to be an issue, but yeah, you didn't need to make it a bigger issue than what it is. And on top of that, they got rid of the Dash Now feature. I mean, the scheduling feature. So now
Yeah.
every driver known to man can just go on the app, no matter what they want and flood the Seattle market. Like it's not,
and that right there is the biggest problem that leads to a lot of these
it's a big
testimonials.
problem.
Yeah. I mean, look, we I think we all know this tier system's BS, the AR is BS, but the problem is they're so oversaturated. I mean, we used to say oversaturated. I don't even know what to call it anymore. But this is proof. Now you can just everybody can dash anytime. So now there's no orders going around because they've increased the fees, they've increased the prices, they upped the menu prices again. So I mean, they literally, and if you guys remember, Sergio and I were questioning whether Prop 22 money was actually, they found a way to make money on Prop 22, which is really sick, you guys. But we broke that down, and there's a way that potentially that's happening.
Yeah.
And up here,
it's
they've made it so ugly. I think they really are just hoping on like the repeal of it. Like, look, you're going to get rid of this because our volume is down. So it's weird. It's almost like they're putting the pressure on the city, saying like, hey, listen, our business is down. They're like, we don't care. You guys weren't doing it right. And they're like, okay, well, all these drivers don't have work.
Well, they don't have work because you're causing it. Like,
right, but DoorDash is causing it. Like,
that's
Seattle
what I'm
had
saying.
an idea.
Like, DoorDash is causing it.
Yeah.
If this ever something like this came to like my own market, and I know it's possible anywhere, like I would be, as a driver, I would be screwed. Like I'm so oversaturated right now in where I'm at and like where I used to work that having Top Dasher is like my one saving grace that I can just dash now whenever I want. If every driver in like New Jersey could just dash now whenever they want, man, nobody would be making money.
So I don't ever do the traveling and dashing. Those people who come to your market, Kim, if they're Top Dashers, can they dash in Jersey even if they're from New York?
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to be in your area to dash anytime.
I can take a trip to Florida and I can dash whenever I want in Florida. I can take a trip to Colorado and dash whenever I want.
That used to be such a nice thing to think about that. Like you can do this. Now I feel like, dude, this is getting abused because people in their markets are getting so oversaturated. They're moving to the other markets and killing it for other people.
Exactly.
So it really is bad. And so here it is in a quick breakdown because there's other articles out there, but so the recent enacted legislation to help app-based delivery drivers, which is again what it is, receive fair wages instead of hurting delivery drivers. It says Seattle's app-based worker minimum payment ordinance, which is also known as, I think it's called Pay Up, is what it's also referred to. And the app-based worker paid sick and safe time ordinance went into effect January 13th. So the app-based worker minimum payment ordinance requires network companies to pay the greater of a minimum per minute amount of 44 cents and a minimum per mile amount of 74 cents or a minimum per offer of $5. So if everybody followed that, nothing can be under $5. And you have to, if the order itself doesn't pay more than 44 cents a minute and 74 cents a mile, and that's not including tips. So this is why DoorDash has said, you know what, let's hit the customers with all the fees. Because this is, if you think about how much that would cost.
Ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, they have no choice but to raise that's like, to me, that's pretty crazy. You're talking about, if you're doing, like for example, if you're going 60 miles to deliver food, I guess, maybe that's not the best example, but you're making like what, $1.18 like per mile.
Yeah.
I know we all look for like local $2 mile minimums, but I don't see how this really helped. In the rideshare world, it helped a lot. But then there's the other part of it, the app-based worker paid and safe time ordinance. I don't know why safe time. I don't but allowed so that this is the other part of it, allows app-based workers to accrue 1 day of paid sick and safe time for every 30 days within one work-related or with it, yeah. So for as long as you get 1 day, as long as you've within 30 days, as long as you've made one stop in Seattle. So it's not even based on are you working full time, anything. It's did you make a food delivery? Did you pick a customer up or drop them off in Seattle? If you did even one, you get an accrued day. I mean, to me, that's weird. Like, so I could go do one dash a month in Seattle and get an accrued day where I'm paid for the whole day. I'm sorry, there's no other limitations on it, guys. I wish I had more to say. Like, yeah, there's these other requirements, but there's not. They thought this was a good idea. So then it says, however, the new laws are not helping the city's local gig economy. And then it gives a couple examples. You know, there's this Heather Nielsen. So, and some of these people were the ones who wanted this stuff too. But it's, she says, an app-based delivery driver based in Seattle. Orders like Doordash and Uber Eats have dropped considerably since the laws were enacted in January. Companies like Doordash have implemented regulatory response fees in response to the new laws, causing orders to jump considerably to the cost to the customer. She went further to say, you can be out there for 8 to 12 hours a day waiting for an order to come in, and you might get 2 in a day. And then there's another person who said they wanted to be anonymous, but they said it took 3 hours before they got their first order downtown Seattle on a Tuesday. For one. Another worker said that, and this one showed their earnings for the month for this last Monday, in which they earned $24 for 3 trips during 7 hours of app time.
That's crazy.
So I guess my point is, like, is this helping you guys? Because I just see nothing but pain out of this. Like,
No.
I mean, I know that they were really excited. And I know everybody gets really excited when there's a change and you think that change sounds good. Like, I think the same thing in New York. New York, they're now learning that this didn't do anything for us. This is killing us. And it's hard to get on there. It's a little different there because it's hard to get on there. It's hard to get even able to work. And then when you can, there's still not even work. And then they've even said they'll throttle you at 65%.
Yeah.
So the $30 an hour that you are potentially able to earn at 50 cents a minute, they'll throttle you at 65%, which keeps you at $18. So, like, this company, guys, I don't know. Mike and I were talking about this. This is a W-2 now. That I don't even know if it's not just misclassification. I hate to say that, but I feel like it's really time for DoorDash to look at this because things could get real. Nobody knows how real and where they'll direct it. But I can tell you this, like Kim's state, my state, they're taking aim at gig apps, but they hate DoorDash. All the states hate DoorDash. They feel like DoorDash is the pinnacle of the horrible examples.
Because they're slimy.
Yeah. I mean, it is horrible. But I mean, and I mean, like, I don't know. It's ridiculous. There was another one too that I had here that was
do we know any content creators in that area?
Just Zach, I think, is the closest one that we know, but he obviously
people
Seattle
in Seattle. Yeah.
What?
I know a couple of rideshare drivers who do food delivery in Seattle too. Who do both?
Did you hear from them?
They've just been doing a lot of rideshare since these went into effect, and I think I think that some of these places get ahead of themselves because the rideshare one, I don't really know if I can argue why that shouldn't be under the TLC.
I think Zach was saying the other day that, like, say you order something for like $12, making this up, like a Chinese meal or pad thai or whatever, it actually ends up costing you like $40 after everything is said and done, after all the extra fees and everything that's going on over there. So a
So about
$12
twice
meal
as
becomes
much.
like $40.
Or yeah, more.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Was he saying tip too, or is he just saying just there?
I don't know whether he was saying tip two. I just know that he was saying it was.
Well, I
close
mean,
to
and
like
that and
40.
that's the other thing too, Kim, and you know this, tipping's after the fact now.
Yeah.
You can't.
I don't
tip
know whether
upfront,
it's
so it's
Seattle though. Seattle didn't do tipping after.
they didn't.
No,
I don't know that
it's
they
only
didn't.
New York City.
Okay.
Yeah, I researched it. I mean, unless they
Okay.
changed it since I researched it a couple weeks ago, but as far as I know, they're not doing the tipping after.
Yeah, I thought they did that too. But regardless, I mean, they're doing. It doesn't matter what. To me, we're at a point. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They're going to do evil stuff to the degree it's going to hurt you. No matter if you get really excited about one of these changes coming. I mean, I know there's people in California who will debate me on Prop 22, but that's, again, I have to say that's because Prop 22 wasn't, nobody knew there would be a pandemic.
No. The
So
thing I have a
delivery
problem with.
people weren't really taken into account on that one.
The problem I have with this is most honest companies, if they really didn't like what a city was doing or regulations, they would have played hardball and said, if you do this, we're pulling out and we're not going to do business in the city, if they were an honest thing. But in my opinion, DoorDash saw a money-making opportunity with all these fees and charging all the merchants. And I just think they saw it as a money-making opportunity. And it's like, oh, this is what we're going to do. And if people complained about it, we're just going to be like, told you so.
Yeah. And I think we're, we've talked about this too, but I think we're hitting a point where it's like, like we've always said, like, how do you audit these? How would you audit Uber? And like, now it's like, yeah, we don't really know what the algorithm does. So you can go in there and check it out. And so like, if they were to get audited, I mean, it's probably the epitome of like digital cooked books. Like,
Well,
yeah,
okay.
Here's the algorithm we want you to read.
Can I give a slightly different approach on this, Steve?
Please,
Yeah,
go.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Kim. I'm not saying you're wrong. But at the same time, what did you expect? Yeah, I mean, these guys, this is what they do. They're there to make the money. They're going to make the money anywhere they can. From the very beginning, I said, go ahead and do this and watch it fail. I didn't know exactly what was going to make it fail. That DoorDash turned out to be a bunch of, profit-loving scumbags. Yeah, that was my point, is that something like
Very well
that,
said.
that something like that was going to get in the midst of all of this. This is what happens when you have government trying to control the gig economy. This is what happens. You're asking for this kind of thing. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, DoorDash, bad on you. But let's put the blame where the blame really belongs. And that still goes back to them passing these insane laws to start with to try and control the rest of us, because they have to have control. How dare us you want to go out and do things outside of their control? And, if it wasn't DoorDash, it would be somebody else doing something like this. DoorDash is not the cause of the problem. They're a symptom. The cause still goes back to those who are trying to influence their might on us. And that's the part we got to keep fighting back. DoorDash, yeah, okay. But what did you expect? They're a multi-billion company trying to get every penny they can. Show me the company that's not doing that. They're all doing that.
Yeah.
So that we happen to figure out what they're doing here and how it sucks. I still go back to that. They're not the number one problem. They're just
but Tom, even you and I used to talk about, like, you and I were, no offense, people, but we weren't targeting any town, but we always were like, I really do hope they pull out of a state. We need to see this play out.
We need somebody to really blow this thing up. And,
yeah, I mean,
DoorDash went a different way than I expected, but I would love for some company. I mean, one of these guys.
I think the problem there, though, is that DoorDash knows if, okay, we'll pull the plug on Washington. They know that then Uber becomes God.
Yeah.
I mean, it would almost be hard to get back into the market. I'm sure they'd do okay,
Well,
but
if they did honest business, they would actually partner with Uber and say, hey, guys, let's partner together. Let's pull out together. But they would never do that.
It would be
well, they do that. The Flex Association is Uber, Lyft, Instacart, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats.
They would get.
But I've never seen all of them pull out of a city besides Texas that one time.
That's what we need them to do.
But that's what I'm saying. We've never seen them pull out of a state anywhere, any of them.
Right. And that's what we need to have happen.
I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah. We need to have this thing.
Like the next state that's going to do it. Like, you know what? Just shut them down.
So, well, DoorDash is getting what they deserve, though, at the end of the day. I mean, I know it's impacting those drivers, and I feel bad for them. But, at the end of the day, they're all losing. They're all losing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, we're well past I think we all recognize it as, we know it's a luxury service. We know it's available on demand. We know there's options. They've increased the prices. As Lou from Long Island Dash Experience says, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, I think there was an addiction that was created during the pandemic, where people are now have as he says it, like, he like we did a live and he said, here's what everybody should do. Don't use the apps. He goes, I know from my standpoint that doesn't help me. And I'm telling you, don't use these apps. You can't afford them.
Yeah.
It's really sad to hear him say that, but that's, he thinks that people are addicted. He thinks that they don't even recognize how much they're spending and their accounts are tied to them. And I'm not saying I fully agree with it, but I definitely see where he's coming from.
Sure. Steve, can we push in the clutch? And we don't have a lot of time left, but there are a couple of other subjects that I was hoping we'd tackle tonight.
Yeah. Before we switch, let me do, guys, these videos, please submit. Here's Bud Sodas, and then we'll go into those other topics, but please do one of these 30 to 60 seconds. That's it. It's easy.
Hello, my name's Johnny. So I work mainly the Watertown, Fort Drum area and the Utica, Rome, New York area. I have also worked in New York State, Ogdensburg, Oswego, in the greater Syracuse area. I occasionally still go there. I love independent contract work because it lets me have the versatility to go there. I even went to St. Louis, a city I've always wanted to visit, because of this kind of work. It's very important that we preserve it and keep the integrity of it. In fact, we should strengthen the base of it, because that's the true entrepreneurial spirit of Americans, and it's a good way to get a leg up for people to start their own business. Please support independent contractorship. Thank you.
Good one. Liked it.
That was really good.
Good
You
job,
guys,
Bud
I think
Soda.
if you're going, oh, these suck, then I guess I don't know what to tell you, because I think these are very powerful.
They are.
I mean, much more than like reading somebody's email.
No. You
This is
hear it
much
straight
different.
from the driver's mouth.
So, Tom, what do you got?
So mine, we didn't have this on the list, but at least here in Houston, and I know some other big cities across America, I became alert at 5:30 this morning that we had a major issue. I do gig work both in driving these days and also in another realm as well. And one of the people I worked with came running in and said, I've been trying to reach you for the last hour, but I can't because my phone's been shut off. And I don't know why, because I paid my bill. It turns out in Houston, most of AT&T was down until about 2 p.m. today, which meant that most Uber and Lyft drivers in Houston trying to do rideshare were not able to do their work between about 3 a.m. and 2 p.m. I know other cities were impacted too. I know Houston was most impacted because well, whatever the problem was seemed to start in Houston and then spread from here. So it was a total mess in the rideshare world in Houston today. I'm a T-Mobile guy, so I was not impacted at all. But I know other people, all they could make one call, and that was SOS to call 911. So they had to go on TV and plead with people. Yes, we know your phone is turned off right now. Please quit calling 911 to see if your phone works. 911 was overwhelmed with all these people trying to call to see, because that was the only number that worked was 911. So they all called 911 to see if their phone worked.
Yeah, I think I think it affected a lot of the country today. I don't have AT&T either. I have T-Mobile, the same with you, but it didn't. I was not affected, but it affected a lot of people today.
So I wonder how many necessary 911 calls didn't get through.
You have to wonder. Yeah,
I mean, I would imagine a lot.
They were begging people, please. We know you're frustrated. We know your phone doesn't work. Calling 911 to test your phone is not the right idea. But that was the only number that, and people are trying to reach their family members and they're trying to do their jobs. And a lot of us live on our phones to do our jobs. Thank you, Thomas Mathis.
Yeah.
What a mess. But I've talked about this before, Steve. Remember when we went over the biggest challenges in technology facing the gig economy, and this was right up there near the top. I believe this to be a microcosm of what could really happen. Imagine if all of our phones were down for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks. Tom, that could never happen. I'm telling you, this is a huge vulnerability in the entire U.S. system, not just the gig economy, across our entire system where, and if you don't think China and Russia are spending every dime they possibly can to figure out how to turn off our internet for an extended period of time, you don't understand what modern warfare is all about. Yeah. And they're saying this was just a software bug. We had reports earlier today it was a denial of service attack. We had reports that it was solar flares, and now AT&T is saying it's a software bug. I don't think we'll ever really know the truth. I have my own suspicions, but I don't want to come across as a
but it's interesting because I got an alert also today that there was a cyber attack on a pharmaceutical company too, that it affected like 30,000 pharmacies throughout the United States. So like you have the AT&T thing going down, you have pharmaceutical companies being attacked. Like it's very coincidental. It happened almost at the same time.
Just keep your fingers crossed on the grid, or else we're all going to be living in Cheyenne's house.
We're gonna swap over to Cheyenne.
No, they're not gonna,
Do you have extra couch space?
I do.
For all of us,
all of North America. I mean, this thing, it's going to fall like dominoes, and you heard it here first.
I mean, yeah. Again, I got to say to the grid, because as Tom says that, I'm not trying to go down rabbit holes, but to be honest, we know that's a thing too. They're going after our grid as well.
Yeah. So anyway, a big mess. Your mileage may vary depending on where you were in the States today, but I know Houston, big old mess on the. It was funny because I went to Facebook at one point to figure out, people were being impacted by this, and I realized they can't go on Facebook to say they're impacted by this.
No.
Exactly.
Right? Because they're sitting out there at the parking lot at the airport. They can't do anything except call 911. So they can't.
I'll be honest with you guys. I have AT&T, and here's why. Because here in Colorado, in the backcountry, it works much better than Verizon and the others. But if you said the SOS feature worked, why didn't they, like an Amber Alert? Why didn't they send through, "Hey, dummy, your phone's out. We know it. Don't call 911."
Like I said, in the days ahead, we're going to find out more about what really happened today. But
never was my phone down today, and I was in New Mexico into Colorado. Was it just where I was? Wasn't affected?
It was mostly big cities: Houston, Chicago, Dallas.
You don't think Albuquerque's a big city?
Truth or
might have affected Truth or Consequence.
Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. No, not on the list. Not on the list. I got the list here. No, not
I don't
on
even think they had a cell tower, to be honest.
Gigaholic Rex said under 70,000 customers were affected. So I know he's in the tech space.
Well, but that's a lot. You know?
No. Yeah, it was more than that. No.
So maybe are you just talking about San Antonio, Rex?
I say I thought it was closer to like millions of people.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say if like
that was 70,000 complaints. I'm serious. 70,000 complaints.
How did they complain? Nothing was.
It was messed up.
this nationwide check news.
I work with used my phone to call AT&T to figure out what was going on, and then another guy came in and said, "Hey, you guys hear AT&T is down?" We're like, "Yeah, okay, now that explains it."
Yeah. But it also just goes to show how reliant we are to our phones and, social media and all the other stuff.
As of 3:00 this afternoon, it says no indication of malicious cyber activity. So far.
But that's what is
of
that?
Course, but they're not going to say that.
Statement? You think they'd be like, "Hey, we had cyber attacks"?
Yeah, they're never going to say that.
But the FCC
it's like Doordash.
is investigating
it's like Doordash selling your information and saying, "Sorry, we don't really care about you, the customers. Like, patron our business, and we're selling your stuff." It's like, okay. But yeah, I mean, we covered private. I mean, this is all just this week. Privacy laws. And this is one area. They were probably doing it everywhere. They're about to get caught other places.
But he might be right though, because it does say that it peaked today at 74,000. It's still the latest figure is steep fall from the peak of 74,000 AT&T customers reporting. I mean, those are the only people who reported it, so I don't know.
Right. We had 70,000 reports, not 70,000 down.
Right, because I mean, like, what about people who are at I know people who are at W2s who, because of what cell phones are today, they're not allowed to have their cell phones in sight. Like when they're at work, you can't have your cell phone out because they're pretty sure you're not doing work. So, I mean, my point is like, who knows who didn't have their phone on them? Not all of us are doing gig work with our phone in our hand all the time. So, but yeah, I mean, regardless of how many it was, it doesn't matter. I mean, like 70,000 is a lot. And I would think an SOS call goes out to that. I mean, like Tom said, if they can access the SOS feature, that means they still have that Amber Alert channel too. They should be able to use that for you guys. Because my biggest concern when Tom said it immediately was how many 911 calls that were very urgent didn't even get a response time.
That's so scary.
But that's the kind of thing that, I mean, like, think of like, I mean, I don't want to say a grid outage because then you were just screwed. But like, but think about some kind of like any kind of thing that like just disrupts somebody's day. Like your cable's out, you're calling 911 kind of thing. It's like my cable's out. Like, dude, like, shut up. Like we're dealing with gunshots.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, people
I would hate to be a 911 agent. That's the only thing I'm saying. I would just
and the worst part being you have to go through that hey, this is 911, how can I help you? And hear people going, yeah, my phone doesn't work.
You're like, what?
Up.
I'm sorry.
Click.
Yeah.
I no. That's a job that I just would not want to have.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Steve, that was Bill's job as he helped build out the 911 system here in Houston.
Oh, yeah?
Our old buddy Bill?
Yeah. Chopper Bill. Yeah, so I thought I had one last thing here I was going to hit on, but I told you guys I had 5. We got one more, and it's another person that we know. Again, guys, please do these. I mean, if you missed if you joined us late and you missed the ones in the beginning, the first one I thought was very powerful. Larry's was very good. They're all good in their own right. But now here's Xander, who we all know, or most of us know. He's in LA.
Hi, my name is Alexander, and I've been Los Angeles, California. And one of the biggest strengths for me in being an independent contractor is the ability and also the fact that I can do this whenever I want, the flexibility behind it, meaning I can turn off one app or multiple apps at any time if I have other prior engagements that I require my assistance or my presence, right? So let's say if I had a personal appointment and I needed to take off, guess what? I could just shut off my apps and go do whatever it is I need to take care of. Even doctor's appointments, I have the ability to turn the app off, or like I said, multiple apps off, go and do my thing, whether it be for myself, my mother, my wife, or my children. It gives me that flexibility at the end of the day. And I don't have to report to anybody or call anybody and say, hey, I need time off. So yeah, that is why I choose to remain an independent contractor.
I don't know, guys. These are so powerful to me. Like when Mike and I were discussing this idea and I was telling him what I was thinking, he was like, wait, this is genius. And he's like, he went and looked, and he deals with taking legislation from congressmen in DC and rewriting it into more readable terms sometimes and things like that. And he's done this for many years. And he came back to me after I told him the idea the next day and said, I looked, this has never been done. There's not a video archive of anything being fought where, like in this case, like where this kind of thing is being fought with real people, real videos telling their story. And again, guys, keep them positive, but please, like I really, it'll make me feel really good if tomorrow morning I wake up and there's 10 more in there. Even just 10. Like, let's keep building on this, you know. I'm going to push Kim and Cheyenne and Tom to make sure anything they do, they're saying it and giving this link out because I think it's that important. I really do. I mean, knowing all the legislation going on and knowing that we've already said try driverrights.org. We've said go to New Jobs America, sign either of those, contact your congressman. We've tried that, and I know some of you did, but I think this is the easiest way. You don't have to have a gig channel. You don't have to make it a video. It can be audio. And just submit it to the Dropbox that I pinned at the top. I'll also put it, if you're watching on the replay, I'll also put it in the comments and I'll pin it to there. And it's also in the show notes. So just go to it. Just make a video on why you like being an independent contractor, what it does for you. Do you multi-app? Does it help you be a parent? Is it just flexibility? What is it? You know, just the positive part of it and why you wouldn't want to lose it. And if you're one of the people who wants to be an employee, then this isn't for you. And I'm just going to put it that bluntly, because this is about not being an employee and having our freedom. Because under guys, we've said this, but I just need to make it very clear. Under any circumstance where employee or franchise model happens, any of you that think that the flexibility sticks around are crazy. Even if they make it sound like it does, it leaves. Like what's happening in Seattle. Those drivers did 10 times better before they gave them that legislation. And now they're begging to have the legislation recalled. And remember, a lot of people in Seattle were stoked about it. They were like, oh, I can't wait till this comes. It's been helping rideshare drivers. I just can't wait. Really? Like, okay. You know, none of it's worked so far. I don't know what you're... Ellen, it should be... Is it not pinned to the top of... She said, what is... Oh, or Chris said, text me the link. I will, Chris, but it's also should be pinned at the top of the
it
YouTube.
Is.
Yeah, okay. But Ellen, there is no deadline. But here's the thing. Mike and I are trying to get as many as we can together before the end of the month. And then the second deadline is as many as possible 2 to 3 days before March 11th when the rule change happens. Obviously, they can keep rolling in after that too. I mean, there isn't a deadline. but the sooner the better. If you guys can get one of these in there, it really, if you were watching any of those, I mean, to me, every one was powerful. So every one I'm watching that's coming in is like, man, this one story is enough to sell me on why this needs to stay. And then I watch another one and he's got a different story or she's got a different story. And I just like the way it's coming across because people are putting a little passion into it too. It's hard not to. It's hard not to make this video and not care, like. But keeping it positive is key. And I agree with Mike on that. He's got a lot of practice in all this. And he said, if you turn it negative, it almost isn't helpful to the cause. So with that said, I don't know. I'm off the road for a lot of hours doing curry. So I'm like how Kim gets at the end of these usually. Kim usually.
There was two things that I wanted to say.
I
just got the email from Doordash today saying that the 90% completion rate that you guys got, whenever it was, it's coming here.
Did you get a base pay cut along with it?
Oh my God. Well, it didn't mention anything yet about a base pay cut. It just mentioned
it'll come in 2 days.
But maybe it won't, Kim, because they don't get the tips like we do either.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I know you can, but I don't know if we've ever done like the straight up comparison. But I think whenever we talk about it, I feel like you don't have the amount. Well, in these days, we don't either. We used to.
No, but you get the 90%. At least this is the way it got rolled out when it came to my area. It was 90% completion rate, and then it was either the next day or the day after. Then it became you got earned by time, and then you got a base pay cut. So just be on the lookout. It literally came like one after another. So just fair warning.
Hopefully they skip that part for us.
But here's my thing. And I know that the change can be abrupt, but I'm just being honest here. Isn't 90% fair? I don't usually agree with DoorDash, but listen, if out of every 100 you're unassigning 10, that's a lot.
Yeah, 90% is totally fair. Like I don't see anything wrong. I mean,
it just again, I think there's a responsibility on the DoorDash side too. Be transparent, and we won't have to unassign.
Yeah, I think
there's a trade-off here, but I don't know. I mean, we've had that here for a while. Ours switched months ago.
Yeah. Mine was in October or something like that.
Yeah,
same that was the least. To be honest, 90% was the least of the concerns of everything they rolled out all at the same time. So it's like a ripping.
What were the other ones that changed?
I'm hoping that they end here.
It was earned by time, base pay cut, stacked orders. You now get $2 for both orders. So it's basically buy one get one free, or $1 per stacked order, however you want to look at it. They cut it there too. I'm trying to think what else. It was
all came out at the same time.
All came out at the same. It was all big, one huge email.
Here's what I got to say to this is that, like I said, most of the legislation I'm reading, it definitely it's looking at all the gig apps. It doesn't look at the like off-brand ones as much. Okay, it really doesn't. And a lot of those do operate a lot differently, but a lot of the legislation wants a couple things that I honestly think a lot of you will not like, but I'm not so much against it. Like caps, market caps are going to become a thing in a lot of markets. They're going to get, and the cities and states have figured out major fines. So like if on it's like PARs. I was putting it into taxi perspective, when Tom, when we had the taxi stand guys on the radio show. So one of them works in New York, but it also worked in Fort Lauderdale or something. And he was saying like how on a weeknight, 1,500 cabs are allowed to be on Fort Lauderdale streets. On a weekend, 2,200 are. Now, after that, nobody can get on. And so what does Uber do? How did they hurt the taxi industry? They allowed 7,000 to go on any given night and put these under. But now they're saying, well, no, that same TLC stuff that we're trying to get you under in other states, like that's going to also include caps. Like, and so like if Uber's like, we like 4,000 Ubers in Fort Lauderdale on a Friday, they might say, well, your new cap is 1,500. And then they now have, these states are pushing to have not control of their algorithm, but they need to have a true number of who's out, because they're going to be fining them on a daily basis. And I mean, like there's some of these states are saying like, like $110,000 fines per instance. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot to us, but like we know these companies will abuse it and cross that line a bunch of times. That'll add up real quick.
But I wouldn't mind caps.
That's what I'm saying. To me,
I'd rather they
like
tell me
waiting
it's
list.
dead and I just don't go out, than I go out and I'm sitting in my car and doing nothing while waiting for an order.
But see, remember the original rideshare model is, and it's just because it's like the race to the bottom. It's like everything. It's like, well, Lyft has a car every 2 blocks. We need an Uber every block. Like the point is we need to be the closest to anybody that might call at any given time. So they don't mind if 100 times too many drivers are oversaturating.
So crazy.
But at the same time, like, that's what I'm saying is like, I'm not all about this regulations, but at the same time, some of the things they're asking for are pretty legit. I mean, it's not getting into the money parts and stuff. It's more like they're looking ahead for us. Like, and we'll get into some of this in upcoming weeks, but like portable benefits, I believe that's one of the biggest things that should be fought for, because a lot of the full-timers, you're not even looking at this. Like, you're not if you're full-time and you're like, this is what I'm doing for now. I was going to transition out. It didn't really work. I'm back. I've seen that happen with a lot of people. So if this is kind of turning into full-time and going to be full-time, you should be thinking about some kind of benefits. And these portable benefit ideas are great. I mean, Salt Lake City had like 11 things on the agenda. Let's do all these things at New York and Seattle, and Utah said no, and they discarded them all, and their new proposal is just portable benefits, but they want the company to pay into it for you. So it's a weird system. Like, I don't know. I was thinking about how like how they sell our data, but we agree to the check box that does it. Like, I was thinking, dude, just take half the money you get from selling my data and get me portable benefits. Put that into my portable benefits. Then I don't care if you're... Then, in fact, I'm like, go sell my data more. Go give me more money. Because aren't we Uber partners?
Yes.
Tom, I knew you'd like that one.
Partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys, thank you for joining us tonight. I don't know if any of us have... Kim, you got a last story or anything?
A last story? No.
Not like story time, but...
Oh, wait, I had a second one. I forgot.
Okay.
I forgot I had a second one. Skip the dishes. So for anybody in Canada, they also recently changed their app, and the whole interface looks very different. It's very clean. However, what drivers are complaining about now is that whenever you go to accept an order, so before with Skip, you had to swipe, which was actually pretty annoying when you just have one hand. So you always had to use that second hand to do it. Now you have to hold onto a button, but you have to keep your finger on it for a while. And they said that's to avoid people from accidentally accepting orders. But drivers are not happy about it, because you're literally like sitting there with your phone and you're like, and then it accepts that you accepted the order. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, drivers are in an uproar about that in all the Facebook groups with Skip. So I don't know.
So what, I don't even know if you've been out since it happened, but what's your take on it?
I haven't been out since they changed the UI, but they
knowing
did
what they did.
Exactly. Knowing what they did, it'd be annoying for me, just because I like with all the other apps, you just like press accept and you're good to go. If you're driving, if you're whatever, if you have the phone in your hand because you have something else in your hand, already the swipe was kind of annoying, but holding, like, come on, sometimes you get the order and like you look at the distance, you look at everything, and then you're like, okay, let me accept it. if you only have like 2 seconds to accept it, you're holding, that's gone.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, I don't know. How do you guys accept orders for Grubhub? Because it's the same company. Like,
You hear the cowbell and you go, oh. And then you look at it and you go, oh.
Wait, you actually hear cowbells?
No, it's more like just, oh. No, I was one of the you know, Kim, I think you know this. I was one of the one that got mass deactivated, and all you had, I mean, it was easier than shipped. All you had to do was call and say, hey, you made that mistake on me. I didn't even bother. I haven't had a Grubhub order in forever. I mean, it's I know, look, I do well with curry in my market, like Ceci in New York. She doesn't do anything but Grubhub.
She kills it.
And she kills it. I've said this here before. If I did that, I'd be dead and homeless.
I have a driver that I know of in my own market, and he's a full-time Grubhub driver, and he kills it too. And, you know, obviously I pick his brain all the time, and it's all about being a premier driver and having, you know, been on the platform for years. And the more you work Grubhub, the more offers they give you. But man, to get to that premier driver status, like I honestly, I can't get on a schedule. I can't get on a block. So, and that's the only way you can really get orders. So how are you supposed to become a premier driver if you can't get orders?
Wow.
But see, this is, again, before we wrap this up, this is what we're going to be facing. We're going to be facing potentially caps in a lot of cities. So get used to it, guys. I mean, it's like the waiting lists. And to be honest, I'm with Cheyenne. I mean, I think, look, I'd rather know there's just 8,000 drivers out. It's not worth it. You're not going to get anything. Don't waste my time then. Like, let me know that.
It's better, honestly, than drivers fighting each other for orders. Like, It's so funny. Like, you can see, I always say in some of the areas I work in, that it's like sharks circling the area. Like, you can always point out a driver's car because they're literally just circling around, and it's just like, it's like a dog eat dog out world out there. I would rather see less drivers and more orders come to our phones so people can actually make money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Traveler finally up in Syracuse. You know, the 5th is the big one. You got it. You got a driver score. You should be able to find it by touching your picture in the app, and it'll have a driver score now. If not, it might take a day or two. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for waiting lists though too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, to me, like I've been on waiting lists. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'd much rather be on a waiting list than them go, you're approved, start, and like there's no business.
I've been on Amazon Flex for 2 years and still haven't gotten on.
Right.
2 years?
Oh.
2 years.
Maybe you should contact them. Be like,
yeah, I think that's a contact them situation.
Is this a joke?
I've emailed them before, and they give you the whole same like verbiage. You know, you're on a waiting list when something is available. You know,
don't worry,
New Jersey
you'll be off it soon.
Yeah, pretty much. 2 years later, I'm still on, and I've signed up for it with 3 different emails, thinking that maybe it's, but no, I 2 years. 2 years.
So you're on a waiting list for 3 emails?
It took me stepping in for Chris from Rideshare Guy.
Yeah.
It took me, he contacted me a couple times, and then he's in Buffalo, and he still wasn't on Curry. And he finally sent an email to me that said, Steve, it's been 15 months. And I sent it to Alice. I was like, come on. I'm like, I know there's a damn waiting list, but what's up with this?
That's long.
Maybe I need to use my newfound Twitter account to tweet Amazon Flex. Is that a thing?
You know, oddly, for any of those of you that don't know, like if you have a YouTube issue, get on Twitter. You'll get your question answered like that. Anywhere else, you're not going to get a response, or you're going to get auto replies. Twitter is actually pretty good for getting responses from companies.
Yeah.
Does anybody have an Amazon Flex connection out there?
Yeah, just get on.
Yeah, 'cause that's a
Kim,
long
just
time,
go on
man.
Facebook Marketplace and buy one. They're like probably $20.
Oh, wow.
That's
You know,
weird.
I mean,
2 years.
Document the process and put it on your page.
And the funny
But you
thing
guys-
is, I've been on the wait list for just real quick. You wanted a story? I'll give you a story real quick. I've been on the wait list for 2 years. The other day, I saw an Amazon Flex driver, and I know it because it says Amazon Flex driver makes frequent stops right on the card. And an 8-year-old kid got out of the car, went to the door, took a picture for whoever's in the car, and got back in. I'm like, really? I can't get on Amazon Flex, and this is what's happening.
right. The
took
smart
your
people would
spot.
just have a car behind them and give them the manifest and say, here's where I'm delivering. Just be a mile behind me and take everything.
Oh my gosh.
You wouldn't do it in one. That's just stupid. And I'm not trying to give anybody ideas. Don't do that. Don't steal stuff. Even though the apps piss you off, remember, it's not the apps, it's the people ordering stuff. So don't steal their stuff. I mean, I remember the days when Kim didn't believe me that DoorDashers peed on houses.
It's just weird. Seriously, that's just weird.
It's so weird.
Right, Tom?
But-
It's just weird.
Do people-
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, Kim, like, I don't know your town well enough, but I mean, like, have you ever been to college towns and stuff? Like, people just walk around in some of those towns, just pee on everything. So it's pretty, like, where I live, that's not that uncommon.
That's college. It's not like
I'm not by
adults
college. It's
delivering
just
to
like,
adults.
in fact, I got a
Seems like they
school-
brought it into
No,
adulthood.
she was here. I got a school across the street. I got the Denver Performing Arts School across the street, the high school across the street from my house. So, like, if you piss on my house, you're actually getting on that pedo list.
What?
That's true.
'Cause you can't piss within 500 yards of a school, or else you go on the pedophile list.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, you gotta expose yourself, right?
even if school's out, even if it's night.
No, I just go in my pants in front of the school. I don't pull anything out. Just wet myself and walk off. So that way I don't get in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, what you should do is just wear like see-through pants and go pee yourself outside the school.
We could have that discussion too. Major League Baseball uniform, see-through pants. Go look in the ESPN MLB today. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah.
But you guys,
MLB.
this is the ending thing. Again, I'm going to plug it. I'm just going to keep doing it for a bit, you guys, because right now is the time to please make a video. They're so easy. China, are you going to make a video?
If I'm gonna make a video, but I'm in Canada. I
don't
can
care.
talk about it, but I can't make
Yeah,
a
I'm
video.
in Canada. I'm afraid of this crap coming here.
Wait,
Because you
can I
guys
do
are
that?
starting to face that stuff. Maybe
Yeah,
if
we are.
Canada one thrown in isn't going to
Or
hurt.
make up a state. They don't have to know where you're
No,
really
no,
at.
be honest. Because she can attest to, we've talked about it, that they are starting this stuff up there.
Yeah, they are in BC.
Like, hey, I'm in Canada. I'm afraid that what you guys are doing down there is
Gonna set
like a
precedent
plague,
for
and
us.
it's working its way up to me. I don't want
Yeah.
this either.
Oh, if I can do that, I'm definitely doing a video.
Yeah.
Sure.
Canada never lets a bad idea go by.
Tell me about it. God.
So you guys, please, I know a lot of you, and I know a lot of you watch this live. I know a lot of you watch the replay. So please just populate it. 30 seconds. I'm Steve from Denver. I'm an independent contractor. I like to remain that way because I like to work when I want. I raise my son full-time on my own. I do some production work as well, so I need to be able to juggle both. Under no scenario of employment would I be able to do the work I do. That's one I could do. Everybody's is their own, and that's the best part. Just your first name, city you're in, and then anything you feel, but keep it positive. And with that, unless anybody has any final last words, I'm going to wrap this up because I've been awake for like 2 days.
There you
I don't want to start getting too loopy. thank you guys for joining. As always, if you didn't, smack that like on the way out, and please, I'm gonna keep saying it. Upload a video. As soon as there's like 100 in there, I'll start slowing down saying it. But until there's 100, I'm gonna annoy you guys with it. Not just here, like everything. Make a video a day about it. I don't care. I think it's that important. I do. And we are all looking for how can we help. I've had so many people email. I've had so many people reach out from all different socials. How can we help? Okay, well, we've tried some other things. This is the easiest thing we've come up with, and it's the most hard hitting, I think. Like people who are reading emails that I want to be an employee because I don't hustle and I want to make what the hustlers make. Okay, that's just stupid. So let's talk about why we want to be independent contractors in a good light. I know that a lot, and here's the last thing I will add to that. I know a lot of you guys want to just attack onto the money. Let's fight this fight first, and then we can push on some money and some stuff. But first is first. Let's be independent. They say we're independent contractors. Let's be independent contractors. Let's tell Congress what we want. I mean, I only showed 5 tonight, and I thought they were all moving. We get 500. That's pretty impressive. So, with that said, you guys, thank you for joining as always, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And yeah, be safe, earn smart, and be good to each other. And Dropbox a video. Peace.